This is the micro-learning video to give you the skeleton bony landmarks for the remainder of the shoulder girdle. In a previous video, we covered the scapula. We will now work on the bony landmarks for a few other of the bones of the shoulder girdle. We are going to start on the left-hand side of the scapula. So our scapula is here. And now we're going to discuss the clavicle, which is your collarbone. So you'll be able to see the right collarbone, and we're going to be working on the left collarbone. So right in here where this hook is called the sternal end of the clavicle. And then right here is the acromial end of the clavicle. And in the center, that's the body of the clavicle. Now we do have two joints that I've talked about in the Panopto presentations. Our first joint would be right in here where the two bones meet. This joint is the SC, sternoclavicular joint. The second joint is called the AC, and that would be right where the two bones meet, and the AC stands for acromial clavicular. And so that's where the two joints would be. Now we're going to move to the sternum, which is better known as your breastbone. It's located right here. Its goal is to protect heart and lungs, to keep the ribs together so that the ribs can protect. At the top here, this is called manubrium. This section right up here, manubrium. This location is the body of the sternum. And at the very end, this little protrusion is called the xiphoid process. So the sternum has three parts: manubrium, body, xiphoid process. So we have covered these two bones. The last section would be the vertebrae. I'm going to turn this around. Sorry if I'm making you a little dizzy. The two sections that we're going to cover are going to be the top two, or the superior two, of the vertebrae. This section here is called cervical vertebrae, and then this section is called thoracic vertebrae. The goal is to protect the spine, and it is a very large attachment site for many muscles of the body. So here in the cervical vertebrae, we have C1 through C7. You can feel C7 on the back side of your neck, that bumpy protrusion. That's going to be C7. And then above it, C1 all the way up. And it goes up into the head. Another location that you would need to know is the base of the skull. There is a muscle that attaches at the base of the skull. And then we have our thoracic vertebrae. We have 12 of those, T1 through T12. On all of your vertebrae, you have a couple bony landmarks. All of the bone tips is called spinous process. And you can feel these if you were to run your finger down your own spine, you would be able to feel your spinous processes. To the left and right of your vertebrae are called transverse processes. So you have the spinous process, and then you have the transverse. And that would be your bony landmarks.